So Bayer Leverkusen have won the Bundesliga, and it looks like they might do the impossible and go invincible, not just in the Bundesliga, but in every single competition, which is absolutely mental. So today we're picking things up from the end of the current season when they are absolutely smashing it and trying to win the Champions League next season, while doing this in a full realism factor. So using Xabi Alonso tactics, as he will be staying for next season, selling one big player, as they have mentioned is going to be happening in real life, and bringing in 3 or 4 players to come into this Bayer Leverkusen side. Now, I have gone online and looked at a few tactics and made what I think is 3 very decent tactics. Would look like they play a very similar way. So yes, it might look similar to some of the tactics on the internet, whether it's RDF or Josh Daly or the 2 guys I speak to all the time. I've looked at their tactics, I've used little bits of both of them and made 3 tactics, one that's a standard, one that's attacking, and one that is aggressive. All of these will be available over on the Patreon to download with the rebuild file, but we'll go through that in just a little bit. So they're all the similar sort of formation, all in the 3-4-2-1 that Bayer Leverkusen play in real life. And we're getting the best out of our star players like Wirtz, like Grimaldo, and like what was Frimpong. That is the player that I think is most likely to leave this summer. He has been heavily linked with a hell of a lot of clubs and would give us around £55 million to spend this summer, which adds to our £5 million the board have currently given us. So we need a sale, and to be honest, I think the most likely is that it is going to be Frimpong. So the players we're looking to improve on: a goalkeeper I think is necessary to replace Hladecki. Kusunu, Tar, Tapsoba I think are 3 fantastic centre backs, but obviously a brand new right back. Xhaka and Palacios great in midfield, Grimaldo at left back, Hoffman at right attack and mid, Wirtz and Boniface. We're keeping Kovar. I'm going to try and sign Stanisic from Bayern Munich if we can. Another centre back to come in, but Kempi as the other centre back, Nathan Teller as the backup to the new right back, 1 more midfielder and someone to possibly replace Andrich as well. A new backup left wing back to replace, well, to help out Grimaldo, with Amine Adli, Adam Klojek and Patrick Schick helping out Hoffman, Wirtz and Boniface. Let's get into the signings we are able to make. Well, first of all, Jeremy Frimpong is staying at the club. He hasn't left, but we have made another very big sale. So it was Ezequiel Palacios that left to FC Bayern Munich, and I'm a little bit gutted, to be honest. He's a very good player, and he goes and strengthens our main competitive rivals for this season. £48 million is what we got for him, so a very good amount. But I'd like to have kept him around, as he's got some real great energy and legs in the midfield, and a little bit gutted he's gone. But it does mean we get to keep Big Frimpong at right back. So it was 2 central defensive midfielders that needed to come in. So number 1, I've signed Sivert Mansverk from Ajax, a 22-year-old Norwegian central defensive midfielder. Very good at the ball, very aggressive, and great stamina. So replaces Palacios very well. And the other man next to him is going to be Lucas Gorna-Duaf. 2 very good young central defensive midfielder. He is French, 20 years of age. Again, consistent. Again, aggressive. Again, very good on the ball as well. And again, £12 million, an absolute bargain. We have signed a very good young goalkeeper as well from SC Freiburg in Noah Atabulu. Now, I've brought this guy in actually to be the number 2, and I'm going to give Mati Kovar the number 1 role, which sounds a little bit crazy, but as a Manchester United fan, I know how good that guy can be, and I think he can come in and take the reins very well. So Noah comes in as his young deputy. The backup left back we signed to back up Alex Grimaldo is Lucas Esquivel from ATP, an Argentinian young left back that I think there's a gap in the market. He looks fantastic, very quick, can cross, consistent, likes big matches, and I mean, he's a backup to Grimaldo, who is absolutely fantastic. So he isn't going to play too many games, but on to the centre-backs. I've signed Strunja Pavlovic, also from RB Salzburg. He's left-footed. He's absolutely fantastic with the ball. He's 6'4", so adds a real bit of height and steeliness. Also quite good on his right foot, extremely consistent, loves big matches, and cost us just £11 million, so an absolute bargain. And finally is Chadi Riyad, signed from Barcelona after his loan over at Real Hispalas. Also left-footed, so we have got quite a few left-footed centre-backs, but again, decent enough with his right foot. Consistent, very good on the ball, so a completely different type of left side centre back to Pavlovic. More of a ball player, also can defend, and very quick as well. And overall, it leaves the squad looking like so. Mati Kovar in goal, who I think is going to be more than good enough to lead our goalkeeper division. A fantastic goalkeeper, only 23 years of age, and is going to be absolutely brilliant. Kusunu comes in as our first playing centre back, as a right centre back, with dribble more and stay wider on him. Very quick, very good on the ball, and I'm excited to see him, Jonathan Tah, and Edmund Tapsoba staying at the club and making a very solid back three, keeping that foundation they've built this season. Of course, Alex Grimaldo stays in as the left wing back. He is simply brilliant, and I'm looking for him and Jeremy Frimpong to dominate this season. Now, obviously, January is coming up very fast here in the Bundesliga because of the mid-season break. So you never know. Some of these players could also leave in January, which would be gutting, but it is what it is. Some of them have got release clauses, but Frimpong and Grimaldo starting off there. Xhaka has been a revelation for Leverkusen in midfield, so he stays next to Gorna Duaf, who I'm going to keep as the starting midfielder as a Segunda Volante on support. And Mine Adli as the right second mid, a fantastic young talent with real upside and potential. Next to the best player in the team, Florian Wirtz, a real superstar that could go on to be one of the best players in world football, and a striker that knows how to score goals in Victor Boniface, leading the line up front. He is fantastic on FM and simply fantastic in real life as well. Backups wise, we're looking at Adabulu, Pavlovic, Chiadradi and Hincapi, all left-footed, all young, all very good. Nathan Teller, Mansverk, Andrik and Azegavir, with Hoffman, Klojek and Patrick Schick staying in and around the club. I think the squad is very, very strong. I'm not going to be looking to go unbeaten again. Unbeaten back-to-back seasons isn't realistic in the slightest, but if we can win the title, that'd be fantastic. My main thing is I want to see if we can upset the odds again this season and win the Champions League. So let's get into the start of the season. Well, our first game of the season came up thick and fast, and we came out the blocks thick and fast as well, and certainly Victor Boniface did. We saw in this system we were going to be a very solid team this season. Boniface getting us 1-0 up and a ball forward to him from a challenge on Florian Wirtz, make it 2-0 just before half-time, but we have got time to sneak in just one more before half-time because 30 seconds later, a great ball through from Gorna Duaf makes it 3-0. Florian Pick is going to get his head on a corner at the back stick, and he's going to make it 3-1. Actually drops him on the edge of the box and he scores an absolute screamer, which annoyed us because it was time to put them to bed. Jeremy Frimpong darting down the right-hand side finds Hoffman, and Boniface gets his 4th of the game. There's a chance this guy could become the top goal scorer at the end of this season. We are going to make it 5-1 as well, thanks to a goal from Andrik. Things are a bit more relaxed for game number 2 against St. Pauli, but again, it was Victor Boniface getting the 2 goals. And he grabbed another brace away against Mainz, and also a goal for Florian Wirtz. 3 games, 3 wins to kick off the Bundesliga campaign. And I suppose we should mention the DFB Pokal first round. Homburg, an 11-0 win, 79% possession, 40 shots, and a 7.27 XG in a professional game. These tactics are quite good. 5 goals for Boniface, 2 for Hoffman, 1 for Adli, 1 for Tal, 1 for Frimpong, and 1 for Florian Wirtz. And you can tell we actually played quite a rotated side without the injuries to Patrick Schick and Adam Plojek. It'd have been a completely rotated 11. But, you know, it is what it is. Victor Boniface, another 5 goals. And I mean, the one thing I learned straight away in these first 3 games is that the title was going to be difficult regardless of how well they have done this season, because Bayern Munich were going to be absolutely cooking on a vengeance to try and get their trophy back. 9 points and 10 goal difference in 3 games for them. Obviously for us, 9 points and a 9 goal difference. Already 3 points clear of the rest of the pack, but it was going to be a strong 2-horse race. So we had to just keep winning games. So that's what we did against Union Berlin, a 3-0. A 1-0 victory over RB Leipzig. But sadly, for the first time in over a season, Bayer Leverkusen have lost the game thanks to a 1-0 defeat to SC Freiburg. And we also lost to Spurs in our first game in the Champions League phase. So we had to bounce back with a 1-0 victory over Atletico Madrid, followed up by a very, very boring 0-0 against Sporting, an incredibly nervy 1-0 victory over Monaco, and thanks to an 82nd minute Nathan Teller goal, also a 1-0 against PSV. The Champions League phase wasn't going incredible. We were in 9th, but just a 2 goal difference. A lot of games a hell of a lot closer than I would expected, but we're still doing quite well. We are looking to get in to that top 8. But we head back into the Bundesliga, and we were lucky not to lose our 2nd game in a row. I was hoping they weren't like buses and we're going to come one after the other. Patrick Schick bailed us out with a 95th minute equaliser away to Frankfurt, before we finally got ourselves back to winning ways, and it was VfB Stuttgart we were up against, and Florian Wirtz had finally put himself on this season, getting us a goal ahead in just 19 minutes, and then some good build-up play down the left with Grimaldo and Manzuk before Wirtz picks the ball up and fires a screamer past Gun Castells, and it took us to the 89th minute forward to make it 3-0, a header at the back stick from Piero Hincapié, a convincing 3-0 victory. Followed up by, of course, some more points dropped. Away to Wolfsburg, a 1-1 draw thanks to a goal from Adam Hlošek. Alex Grimaldo then decided he wanted to put his name on the score sheet and grabbed the base, and finally a goal from Victor Boniface, again making it 3-0 against Hoffenheim. And then we lost to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and it was Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting that scored. And so far this season has been very topsy-turvy. Wins, draws, wins, losses, wins, wins, draws, losses. We seem to not be able to go on a proper run of form. We did finish the month of November with a 2-0 victory over SV Werder and a convincing 6-1 against Augsburg, and it looked like maybe we were finally going to get back to winning ways. A hat-trick of assists for Frimpong as well, proving that he was a good player to attempt to keep in the summer. We then head back into the DFB Pokal. We were facing up against Mainz, who we beat 3-0 earlier on in the season, and due to injuries, Florian Wirtz was starting this game, and in just 56 seconds, he gets us 1-0 up. In 26 minutes, Grimaldo finds a ball in. It drops to Yamin Adli, and he finds a screamer in, who, by the way, is a fantastic young talent that I really am looking to utilise throughout this whole rebuild. Piero Hincapié capitalises on a defensive mistake, and he makes it 3-0 before a good build-up down the left-hand side. Hincapié finds Florian Wirtz again to make it 4, and we're through to the third round. But we scrape through against Greuther Fürth in a 1-0 victory away from home. Again, a very rotated squad, and it's been good to be able to rotate the 11 while having some very strong players out there. So thankfully, Patrick Schick got the only goal of the game. Even though we weren't having the greatest of seasons, we were still sitting top of the Bundesliga table. 13 games, 9 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, a 24 goal difference. The exact same as Bayern Munich in terms of results. Borussia Dortmund and Hoffenheim just 2 points behind though. It was a 4-legged race for the title, with Dortmund having a game in hand. Boniface still sitting at the top of the goal scorers charts, and Frimpong with an 8.08 average after 13 games is simply fantastic. But Borussia Dortmund was our game up next, and away from home at a Signal Iduna Park. The last thing you want to do is concede in 26 seconds to Benny Bensabani, and they're going to make it 2-0 within 15 minutes thanks to a goal from Marcel Sabitzer, putting it past Mati Kovar. Starting off this sort of, losing 2-0, we are going to make it 2-1 with a goal from Florian Wirtz, but that's all we could do. And we lost to Borussia Dortmund, and they were now sitting on the top of the table. We did bounce back thanks to a 5-0 victory over Kiel and a 3-1 victory away from home against Dusseldorf before a massive game in the Champions League against Liverpool, where thanks to a goal from super sub Patrick Schick, we ended up being 1-0 winners. The issue we had now is that we were in January, and our superstar player Florian Wirtz, who has bagged 11 goals and 3 assists and a 7.26 average rating, was wanted but the likes of Real Madrid and Arsenal. And sadly, there was nothing I could do. They triggered his release clause, and £91 million Florian Wirtz leaves the club. So we had to attempt to replace him, which was going to be near on impossible because he is simply fantastic, and try and bring in a few players that could help, maybe try and, help the loss of our star player. So my signing to replace him was Hakon Arnar Haraldsson, signed from Los Lille for £35 million. He is 21 years old. He is an Icelandic international, and he has some extremely good stats. He is a superstar that can play off the left-hand side cam or even up front with some great dribbling, flair, determination, work rate, and natural fitness. He suits the Leverkusen way, and he's also incredibly consistent. And because the goals had slowly started to fall off for Victor Boniface, and we're looking for someone to come in and score a hell of a lot, which maybe Haraldsson wouldn't going to be able to do, we signed Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna, £34 million. We spent a lot of the money from Wirtz, and we brought in 2 absolutely fantastic players, but both that I think suits the Leverkusen way down to a T. And the final signing was quite a good little rotational option signed for just £2.5 million. It was Alabzek Faziliev, the Uzbekistani central attack midfielder with fantastic agility and vision, just 21 years of age, could develop into a superstar. Thankfully though, before all of the transfer business did go down, we had one last game with Florian Wirtz, and it was up against Bayern Munich, a game we would certainly need one of our best players. The offer had come in from Arsenal, but Wirtz had his head screwed on. He made it 2-0 to Bayer Leverkusen after 70 minutes. In the 75th minute, Bayern Munich are going to get a goal back thanks to a goal at the back stick from Serge Gnabry, but Florian Wirtz had one last gift for the Bayer Leverkusen fans, making it 3-1 against Bayern Munich and putting us back in the driving seat for the Bundesliga title. We then drew 1-0 away from home against St. Pauli because we no longer had our superstar. But once we had our brand new signings, we faced up against Heidenheim and beat them 4-1, and Hakon Arne Haraldsson got on the score sheet in the 88th minute to get his first goal for the club. We did sadly also lose 2-1 to Fenerbahce in the Champions League phase, which sort of writes off that win against Liverpool, and finished the league phase by beating VfB Stuttgart in it 3-2, a 64th minute goal from Jonas Hoffmann. Had we managed to get into the top 8 of the league phase? Sadly not. We were down on goal difference, and all them tight 1-0 victories had come back to bite us, and we finished in 9th place, and then we were in to the knockout playoff round. We faced up against PSV, a team we struggled to beat in the league phase, and only drew 1-1 away from home against them at the Philips Stadion. So back here at the Bayer Arena, we had to go out there and get all 3 points. Well, I say 3 points, a victory, and Haraldsson shows why he was a fantastic signing in just 4 minutes, making it 1-0, and Josh Zirkzee also played in this game, and he's going to grab the second goal, a ball in from Granaldo, making it 2-0, and we had a 2-goal lead. Well, to finish things off, we wanted a 3-goal lead as Ziegeville drives down left-hand side, finds the ball in the box, and Boniface makes it 3-0. We were through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League if we were to beat the team in the round of 16. And well, the reason the quarterfinals is on my mind is because that's the game we are at today, facing up against Bochum in the DFB Pokal, and Boniface gets us 1-0 up in 80 minutes before we actually end up conceding in the 94th minute thanks to a long ball in the box, and Tigges heads it over Matti Kovar. Luckily for us, in the 115th minute, Boniface scores a penalty, and we are through to the semi-finals in the DFB Pokal. Hopefully we can go back to back. And finally, back into the actual Bundesliga season, we faced up against Mainz yet again, and a 2-1 victory, another goal from Haraldsson. We then lost to Union Berlin 2-1. Again, ups and downs is all we seem to do, before beating RB Leipzig 2-0 and SC Freiburg 2-0 as well. And in this one, it was classic Bayer Leverkusen fashion, scoring the 89th and 97th minute. In terms of the Bundesliga, we are still sitting on top of the table, 1 point ahead of Bayern Munich and level on points with Borussia Dortmund. It was a very close title race. So dropping 2 points at home to Eintracht Frankfurt certainly wasn't helpful. Thankfully, we bounced back against VfB Stuttgart with a 3-1 victory, goals from Zirkzee, Hoffmann and Adli, a 1-0 victory over VfL Wolfsburg, and another lucky 1-0 victory against Hoffenheim thanks to a Boniface penalty. In the Champions League round of 16, we faced up against AC Milan, and we got off to a great start at home thanks to a goal from Tapsoba, and we fly straight in to the second half where Jonas Hoffmann, who has really picked up the slack of Florian Wirtz leaving, makes it 2-0 on the 46th minute. Pierre Hincapié then drives through the middle as he has got dribble more on as that left-sided centre-back to find Grimaldo, who finds Boniface and makes it 3-0 in 66, and we are going to make it 4. A ball in from Grimaldo, and Tar was there. In the second leg, we did lose 2-0 thanks to goals from Giroud and Fikayo Tomori, but we couldn't care less. We were 4-2 victors on aggregate, and we were now into the quarterfinals, where we were drawn up against Liverpool, and we beat them 1-0 in the league phase, and we also beat them 1-0 here away from home at Anfield. So to go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League, we just had to not lose at home, and thanks to a fantastically well-worked set piece, yes, Yassine Adli makes it 1-0 in this game. Boniface then makes it 2 thanks to a knockdown at the back stick from Tapsoba, but Liverpool had some business to do. Darwin Núñez fires a goal in from range, maybe a poor stop there from Matti Kovar, but luckily we are going to bounce back, making it 3-1. Kusunu, playing in the right wing-back role, drives down the line and finds a good ball in to Haraldsson to make it 3-1. Liverpool are going to go and get another goal to make it 3-2, Konate and Jones scoring, but that was that. But we'll get into the semi-finals of the Champions League later on, because first of all is the semi-finals of the Pokal. We beat Wolfsburg 2-0, setting up a final for the very end of the season, which was hopefully going to be our first trophy. Could we also finally go on that good run of form as well with Leverkusen and get a few wins under our belt? We beat Gladbach 2-0, Werder Bremen 3-0, Augsburg 2-0 thanks to a brace from Boniface. And finally facing up against Borussia Dortmund to finish off the month of April, where if we were to win here today, we would get a hold on the league. Thanks to a screamer from Nathan Teller, it became realistic. And in the 42nd minute, Heralderson finds a great ball through to Victor Boniface, where he makes it 2-0. And the best thing of this month of April is the fact we didn't concede a single goal in the Bundesliga, which means our goal difference is now fantastic. Our points tally is 4 points clear of Bayern Munich and a whole host clear of Leipzig and Dortmund, and back-to-back Bundesliga titles was looking realistic. And with just 3 games to go, we faced up Kiel away from home, and we got a 3-0 victory thanks to goal from Manswerk, Fasilev and Xhaka. We drew 1-0 to Dusseldorf. And on the final day of the season, thanks to a 94th minute goal from Haraldsson, we also drew away from home against Bayern Munich. And that wrapped up a very successful Bundesliga title, a 78 points, a 55 goal difference. And what makes it interesting is that if we actually lost that game against Bayern away from home, in that game, we'd have actually lost the title. So thank you to Haraldsson, our signing to replace Florian Wirtz, who left in January, to score on the 94th minute and secure the title for Bayer Leverkusen. Could we add a Champions League to this season? Well, first of all, we wanted to see if we could add a DFB Pokal and make it so Harry Kane is not going to win another trophy at Bayern Munich for back-to-back seasons. So Boniface got us 1-0 up in the 48th minute before Bayern Munich come back in the 52nd, and thanks to a screamer from Leroy Sané, make it 1-1. Boniface steps up from the spot and makes it 2-1, and thankfully the second half of the season, he did pick that form up back again. Jonathan Tah makes it 3-1 at the back stick in the 75th minute. Bayern Munich do put some pressure on the 86th thanks to a goal from Upamecano at the back stick, but that was that. And we had won the DFB Pokal and the Bundesliga yet again. But the question was, could we win the Champions League? Now, in the semi-finals, we drew up against Inter Milan, and in just 16 seconds, we conceded an own goal thanks to Kusunu. And luckily, in the 68th minute, we are going to get a goal back away from home at the San Siro. Grimaldo finding Xerxes, and it was all to do at the Bayarina. So, of course, to make life difficult, because that's what we like to do, we are going to go a goal down thanks to an absolute screamer from Denzel Dumfries. Luckily, we also never give up, as Bayer Leverkusen have shown this season, and Tapsoba scores a header at the back stick, and it sends it all the way to penalties. Hoffman scores, Mkhitaryan scores, Josh Xerxes scores just past Summer. I've got no idea how that ball snuck through. Thuram sticks it in the top bins, and neither team looks like they're going to miss. Andrix makes it 3, Alassani makes it 3-3. Gorda Duaf, oh, he makes it 4-3, thankfully. Fratesi misses the all-important penalty, and we score, and we win 5-3 on penalties, and Bayer Leverkusen are into the final of the Champions League. And when it was Real Madrid who stood in our way, and it was actually Victor Boniface who showed exactly why we should have just stayed with him for the whole of the season. He grabbed a goal early on, and he grabbed a second in 44 minutes. And before the first half could finish, he fancied a first half hat-trick in a Champions League final. Estegaville smashes the post from close range, but Boniface is there, being the poacher that he is. Real Madrid are going to get a goal back thanks to Victor Osimhen, a fantastic finish past Matikova, but it didn't matter, and Bayer Leverkusen have won the Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, and the Champions League thanks to a hat-trick from Victor Boniface. I'm not gonna lie, a simply fantastic season, and that was very fun. I have recently just picked up a Steam Deck, and this is the first real save I did on the Steam Deck, and I played it all myself every single game. Really enjoyable in the Steam Deck, actually. Very small, obviously, but great fun to play through on FM. I played every single game, and I obviously created the free tactics, etc. And it was amazing, amazing fun. And it was the first time I've actually sat down and played FM properly, and also sort of made a video out of it, which was great. And Bayer Leverkusen are on top of the Bundesliga world. 78 points there. Champions League 1, Pokal 1, and German Super Cup we actually got runner-up at against Bayern Munich at the very start of the season. But I do want to talk about the team, because there were some players here which I don't think a lot of you would have thought would get a lot of game time this season at the start of this video. But Matikova this season in goal, a 7.11, and had a absolutely superb season. Has developed so well as well, conceding just 36 goals all season, has proved that he is good enough to be a top division starting goalkeeper. The defenders also, we had Tapsoba, who was great, Jonathan Tah, that was great, but Piero Hincapié really came into his own and made that left centre back spot his own with a 7.06. The backups backups were also great. A 6.97 from Kasunu, a 6.99 from Gorna Diaf. And the backups were also great as centre-backs. A 6.97 from Kasunu. Chadi Riyad with a 6.88. And finally, Pavlovic with a 6.87 as well. So 6 very good centre-backs keeping us nice and solid. And I have to mention Noah Atalubu as well, because 7 games for him, a 7.43 was also a fantastic backup to Mati Kovar. Jeremy Frimpong, I am very glad we kept hold of him. A goal and 10 assists. A little bit less on the goals front than I'd have liked. We had him as a complete wing-back for most of the season, but didn't quite contribute on the goal-scoring front. A 7.35, though, is incredibly impressive. And Nathan Teller, when he played, was also brilliant with a 7.25, 15 starts, 16 off the bench. Midfielders-wise, Xhaka, a 6.94, ever dominant with Svansverk, 9 assists and 2 goals, a 7.05. Robert Andrick, a 6.92, was a very good backup. And Luka Gunadiaf, a 6.99. By the time we got to the end of the season, Sivert Mansverk had just taken that starting DM spot. Grimaldo, 17 assists and 6 goals, was brilliant, a 7.15. And Lucas Ezekiel, a few more games that I've liked him to play, but a 6.96, he was top standard. Amine Adli, 7 goals, 9 assists, a 7 rating, was brilliant. Haraldsson, when he came in, was a very decent signing as well. 6 goals, 2 assists, a 6.94. The backup cams, we were mainly looking at Jonas Hoffman, who scored 10 goals and got 8 assists in 36 games, and Adam Hlojek, who scored just 1 goal in just 9 appearances, and Vasiliev, who actually played more games than I thought he would do. We got a 6.79 and was also very good. And in terms of strikers, yeah, Boniface absolutely smashed it. 39 goals and 3 assists in 45 games. Josh Zirkzee, when he did play, was also good. 4 goals in 9 starts. And Patrick Schick, 3 goals in 3 starts and 10 off the bench. Overall, a very strong season. And obviously all of this is available on the Patreon link down below, whether it's the game so far at the end of the season 1 or the start of season 1 if you want to pick up from the end of this season, and the free tactic files as well. As you've seen, they all absolutely cook, and I used them all in conjunction, all in different games. It was very fun to play through. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.